welcome back to Ranger Life. So last week I was putting on the oil pickup tube from the Ranger and was noticing how it didn't really fit, and I kind of forced it on there. So I did some research. As you saw in the last video, I put up some text, but I did a little bit of research, and the Fusion oil pump does not work with the Ranger oil pickup tube. And so I ordered a new oil pump for the Ranger, but it hasn't arrived yet. I ordered it a while ago and it should have been here, but yeah, there's a delay in shipping and whatever. So I'm glad I didn't seal up the oil pan. I ran out of time and I just slapped the old oil pan on here. As you can see, it's really filthy. But today what I'm going to be doing is probably taking off that oil tube so it's not forced on there. So, you know, it's been like that for a week, so if it's going to get bent, it's probably already happened. But I figured, you know, probably shouldn't force that thing on there. And honestly, like the way that it went on, like I think it would still work. Maybe it might not seal properly all the way, 100%. So that is kind of a worry. But as far as I know, the hole's pretty much lined up, and I you know, tightened the bolts down pretty good. So theoretically, it should work, even though it doesn't, you know, perfectly fit or whatever. So today, what I'll be doing, I think I'll be taking the valve covers off of both engines, and after I take the oil pickup tube off, just to relieve some of that pressure, I'm going to remove the valve covers and do the VCT delete, and seeing if I can swap maybe some of the head stuff over, which I believe is really just the camshaft, and maybe just the cam gear, even maybe not even the whole lobe, but won't know until I open it up, and that might require me to take off the timing covers, but we'll see, I guess. So yeah, enough blabbering about it, and let's just do it. Alright, so got the valve covers off, and yeah, this engine looks really clean. I'm wondering what these score marks here are on the camshafts. And this side, I guess it's ground too. Maybe these are just deburring marks from casting. I'm gonna guess that's what it is. So maybe nothing to worry about. Let's look at the Ranger shaft. This one's obviously a lot older. Yeah, the same kind of markings here. So it's probably just the deburring. But anyway, looking at the differences here, you can see on the intake cam, there's this metal thingy, whatever. And this is for the VCT, which is this guy here, the VCT sensor. And I guess it's like VTEC for Fords or something. And then also, supposedly the other difference is this cam shutter wheel thing. It's different on the Fusion. This has 5 prongs, and the Ranger over here should only have 1. So we're looking at this, and actually it doesn't have any. Yeah, there's no kind of shutter wheel at all. It's just bare right there. It should be right here. That's where it is on this cam, but there isn't one. So these are also not set at top dead center, which I should probably do before I do anything here. Yeah, I'll do that. And then you can see there's no, first of all, there's no VCT, and then there's no metal thingy. It's just a gear. Well, I busted out the little timing tool I got. I mean, I haven't actually done everything I'm supposed to do. So according to the manual, basically, it says in order to find top dead center, you're gonna turn the crankshaft clockwise, right? So you go here. This is a 21 mil is what I used. For standard size, I don't know, it might be something different, but for metric it's 21. And then I just turned it clockwise until basically this tool that I bought for like 15 bucks, I think, just fits into the cam ends here on both engines. So they're both should be top dead center. And the way that you can tell is that these two lobes in the front of the engine, right, closest to the cam gears, should be facing each other, basically, like up and away and like towards each other. So, and this tool only fits one way. Like if you have it clocked in a weird way, like upside down even, like it won't fit. It only fits in one configuration. And so they're both like that. You can see the lobes on this one are also pointed towards each other in the front. And just looking at the differences now that they're both in the same relative position, it looks like this shutter wheel or whatever you call it on the cam, I don't know if it's pressed on. It might be pressed on. It might not be part of the actual the cam, you know, shaft. But on this one, there is a lobe here that you know serves the same function as that shutter wheel thing, and this is definitely part of the camshaft itself. I don't think there's a way to remove this. No, it's pretty much cast into the metal. And so because of that, since this doesn't exist on that engine, let's see if maybe I think this position could be where this position, this little thingy sticking out right here is, right? It's sort of, you know, pointed in the same direction. I guess I could get a protractor and measure the degree. So I guess technically what I could do is that I could just, you know, shave these down, right, the other ones that aren't used, into just nubs basically, just so it's just like smooth, and then just use that one point there to act as the point here, right, for whatever sensor that is on the valve cover. It's probably the cam position sensor, maybe, which is that thing, right? And on this one, on this guy, it's in pretty much the same position. It's just clocked differently, but it's that guy, right? So this one only uses one little lobe thing to locate, and this uses, I guess, like 5 or something, because of the VCT that's part of the engine. So it's a different sensor. So technically, as long as there's some kind of nub there, that the nub, it looks like it's not like a metal contact nub. Oh, there is. It's magnetic. Okay, because there's metal shavings on here. So it's basically a magnet. So when the lobe or the little nub passes by, it gives a magnetic signal, it turns into electrical signal, and then the computer can read it, right? So I think shaving the other nubs down will work, right? But I don't know if I want to risk that. Obviously I'm modifying the camshaft, and I'll have to take it out and stuff anyway, right, in order to do that. And then I don't even know if that angle is actually right without like measuring it, and I don't really have a protractor. I guess I could eyeball it. It's like kind of like 30 degrees. What's this one? This is more of a 45. Yeah. Yeah, without knowing for sure that those angles are exactly the same, which I'm assuming they're not, probably. They're probably calibrated a little bit differently. So I think the best thing to do, since I'm have to take that camshaft out anyway, in order to modify it, I'm just going to replace it with this one. That just makes the most sense. I won't have to change the cam gear at all. Take it out and plop it in and be done with it, and I don't have to worry about all this nonsense here. So hopefully that doesn't change the intake and exhaust timing too much, because I'm gonna assume that these lobes are different, like the lift duration and stuff for the valves, they're timed differently. So I might get a longer exhaust duration on the Fusion. I don't know, without looking up the specs and stuff. And I'm probably not going to do that, because that's, you know, too many numbers for me. So maybe the markings are the same. Probably not. Let's see, 6A272AB, and on this guy, let's see, 6274. What did I say it was? 6272. So this one's 6274. Oh, this side is 6272 though, on the intake cam. So let's see what the intake cam says over here. It is 6827, no 2. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have much of a choice other than getting aftermarket cams, I guess I could get stage 1 like Crower cams. They do exist for this engine. They're made for the Focus, I believe. And since all the camshafts just drop in and they all work, instead of mismatching them, right? If I got stage 1 cams and they're tuned, right, for a specific power output, that could be good. I don't know if that'd be useful though without upgrading the intake manifold. So basically, I guess I think the final decision right now is to stick with the budget build and just go ahead and just swap the cam over. Alright, so I got the timing covers off. Getting the crank pulley off of the Ranger block was kind of a bear. It was on there. This is what the Ranger crank pulley looks like compared to the Fusion one. So apparently in the newer Fusion, they made this shutter wheel thing removable. So I thought, oh, you know, if the Ranger pulley was the same way, then I could just swap this over, right? But on the Ranger pulley, it's all one piece. The difference between the two blocks with the timing cover off, obviously, is that this tensioner, or this side of the tensioner, the right side on the Fusion block is plastic. You can see that. And on this side, it's like a combination of metal and plastic. So I don't know what's better. Obviously, probably metal is going to be stronger. The plastic itself is probably going to be about the same. Because, you know, it's just going to work kind of the same because they're both plastic. And then I think Ford changed the style of tensioner, the auto tensioner thingy. So it's a different kind of tensioner mechanism here. So I don't know what exactly the differences are. They look pretty much the same, but supposedly those are different. And then everything else kind of looks very similar. Like here, there's a tensioner for the oil thing. This one has a tensioner on both sides, whereas on this one it's just one. So for the most part, what I'm gonna do, and then the other difference is that there's an oil passage right here. You can see there's some oil dripping out. This is where the engine mount used to go on the timing cover. And then there's an oil passage right here where on the Ranger it doesn't exist. So I've seen on the forums where someone will like JB weld, you know, some epoxy or something on the Ranger cover to cover up that hole. Because if you look here on the Fusion cover, that hole is blocked off. So I don't even know why that hole exists. Maybe it's for a different application. Probably because that Duratec family of engines went into a lot of different kind of cars. So, and on this cover, let's see if I can get it over. Like there's nothing like that. So for now, let's just get rid of this guy right here so that the Ranger valve cover can actually go on this block. And I don't have to like keep, you know, opening both blocks up all the time every time I work on it. So got that screw. Probably don't need that anymore. So I'm just gonna, and then take this guy off. Boom, done. Right. And then apparently, I mean, do I really need to do anything else? Apparently you're supposed to take this cam cap off, right, and then shove this guy into it. I think you're supposed to do it from the bottom. Uh-oh, yeah. So this guy is supposed to drop in, I believe, from the bottom. Let's make sure here what the directions say. Once lash is set, remove cam cap number 1. Since I'm not doing the camshaft right now, don't need that. Remove the cam cap. Insert the provided purple VCT delete slug into cam cap smaller diameter side first, which would be this side. So looks like they're holding it, and then that whatever they're using doesn't look like what I have in my hand, but it should, you know, it should work theoretically. Insert. Carefully install to OE head. Oh, that's it. And now that I got that first cam cap off, because it's kind of a dual one, I can, here, let me see if I can, yeah, you can see that, right? So we can stick this VCT delete into that slot where the old VCT was, and it doesn't stay, but I think when this is installed it'll catch on a lip on the block itself. Let's go take a look at that. So I believe, yes, there's like a little indent you can see right there, and that'll hold this purple thing in right there. Boom. And so that should block off that oil passage, and that should also theoretically block off this oil passage on the block, whatever that is, because I think that's part of the VCT. So I don't know for sure if that's gonna work, but you know, well, hopefully it does. And so now, since I got all this off, I might as well do the intake side. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap that over, and then yeah. Alright, so there it is. I haven't torqued down the cam caps yet. I should technically probably check clearances and stuff, but you know, I'm not gonna do that. I'm sure it'll be fine. But these are still loose, so they can be kind of spun around. I sort of tested it before I took this timing chain off. I made some marks here, as you can see, with some Sharpie down here. So those match up, so the chain should be where it was before. And then I just need to install the tensioner back and sort of adjust these guys. I think they're kind of turning together for the most part. So there's probably minimal adjustment on those. I don't know how tight it should be, but you know, try to get some of that slack out of the line there as much as possible, so that nice and tight, and tighten these gears down. And yeah, that should be good once I torque this guy down. I do need to make some adjustments to timing here, it looks like, because before both cams were pretty much butted up against over here on this side, so it was pretty tight on this side here. But because of the valve springs and stuff, it's pushing the cam lobes sort of outward, so they're sort of facing opposite directions right now. So it's not completely straight. So that's something I think I'm gonna need to adjust when I do the timing chain and stuff, just to make sure everything is like lining up perfectly. But the tool does fit, and there's no, should be good, you know what I mean? But just want to get those like perfectly straight if I can. I think I'm gonna torque everything down and everything, and install the tensioner and all that jazz later, once I get the oil pump done, because I need the timing cover open anyway to do the oil pump, because in order to remove the oil pump you need to remove the sprocket. I guess you need to remove this tensioner as well, but you need to remove this, and then there's 3 bolts I believe that hold the oil pump in, and then the new one will go on, and then the oil pan pickup, the oil pickup tube will go on, and then the new pan will go on. So basically just buttoning everything up once some parts come in. That's really kind of what's holding this up right now. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this video, because I can't really move forward without the new oil pump and all the different parts I bought, and I need to order the new crank bolt and the diamond washer for that. And what else? I think everything else is pretty much ready to go. So yeah, hopefully next video you'll see me wrap the rest of the engine up and maybe even drop it in to the truck body. And I don't know what to do with this block though. It's kind of sitting here. I did keep the cams from the Fusion over here, so I mean these aren't very useful because of these guys, so it's not really like I can salvage this block without buying like cams and stuff or whatever. And probably needs a new bottom end anyway. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think I should do with this. I could take it apart and see what damage there actually was, if there was any, and maybe I'm just being stupid and upgrading for no reason. But yeah, that's pretty much. Well, thanks for watching.